Welcome to the podcast. I'm outside. I don't have a microphone. It's not connecting to my phone, so hopefully the audio sounds okay. But I'm outside here. It's snowing like crazy. We're in a winter warning right now, snowfall warning here in Canada, and you can see my breath a little bit. But I thought it'd be fun to come out here and film for a bit and talk about some of the things that are going on in the world that interest Jammy Pogs. Let's start by talking about the Four Nations, the hockey tournament that's going on. This has ruined the All-Star game forever. They can never go back and do the All-Star game. I'm not saying they should do this every year, but seeing how hard these guys are fighting, this is the best hockey we've had in years. This is almost better than NHL playoff hockey. It might be on the same level, but it just because they're playing for their nation, it just has that added prestige to it. It just feels different. If you watched Canada and US play last night, the atmosphere in that building was crazy. I wish Canada won, but the beginning of that game, that first period might be the best first period of hockey I've ever watched. Drops the gloves right away. Tkachuk, Hagel, dropping bombs on each other. The crowd's going ballistic. His brother, Brady Tkachuk, jumps in, fights 2 seconds later. And then we got a third fight. 3 fights. I was losing my mind. McDavid ended up scoring a beautiful goal. That was the only goal Canada scored on Hellebuck. US wins 3-1, but it's okay, because if Canada beats Finland tomorrow in regulation, they punch their ticket to the championship, where they'll get a rematch against the United States. And you know what? Cale Makar will be playing, and I think that'll actually make a big difference. But what have you thought of the Four Nations tournament so far? I think it's been a big hit. I think if you weren't a hockey fan before this and you just tuned in for this, you're a hockey fan now. This has been great hockey, best on best, this generation's first time doing this, and it has been unbelievable. Now, we do have hockey for a few more months, but once football ends, I'm like, oh, what am I going to watch? Because my Sundays are empty, my weekends feel empty, and I'm going to give you a couple sports that I like to bet on when the NFL season ends. And they're a little bit more obscure than your regular NBA and NHL, which will be still in the mix for betting. I don't watch a whole lot of basketball. I watch the Leafs and I watch a little bit of NHL, especially when the playoffs start. There's a kid screaming back there. Number 1, golf. I love betting on golf during the summer. You can do matchups. So let's say Ricky Fowler was playing up against Rory McIlroy. They'll give you odds based on their matchup, and they're just going head to head. And you can parlay them. And I don't win them often. But if you parlay like 5 guys, you're probably going to get like plus 25 to 1 odds. It's pretty good bet. It's freezing out here. Why am I doing this out here? You can also bet on guys to be in the top 5, top 10, top 20. You can pick a winner if you're feeling ballsy enough. I've won on a couple of those. I've won on Ricky Fowler. I've won on Justin Thomas. I've won a couple with Scotty Scheffler when he was like plus 600. Live bet him when he goes down a couple shots. So that's golf. Golf's my number 1 sport that I like to bet on in the summer when there's no other sports on. Number 2, NASCAR. Sundays, that's when we watch football. Now NASCAR is on Sunday. Now, it's not my favorite sport to sit there and watch for 5 hours, but you know what? There's something about once in a while putting a little bit of money on Joey Logano. That's who I like to bet on. And just watching him go around and around in circles. He's super aggressive. He always tries to win. A lot of the time he crashes because he's super aggressive, but it's fine. It's a good time killer. Put a little bit of money on there. You can also do the same thing. You can bet top 5, top 10. You can parlay who you think's going to be in the top 10. If you really felt crazy, you could pick 10 drivers, bet on them all to be in the top 10, and then hope you get 1 out of 10. It's not going to happen. I've never done it before. I've never bet on that. I just thought of that now. But that'd be pretty insane. It's so cold. I should have wore a coat. I thought it'd be funny if I came out here and sat with like a t-shirt on when there's like snow blowing behind me. But I am really cold. But I'm gonna see it through because I said I would do it, and I think it's funny. Number 3 sport, and I mean there's not a lot of options to bet on this, but I really just wanted to give them a shout out because I posted this on my socials the other day. I was watching First Take. First Take ended. I look up. They're sailing on TV. Sailing Grand Prix. And I mean, there's not a ton of options to bet on it, but I feel like if I talk about it enough, we'll start getting some more betting markets for it because it was exhilarating. I sat there and watched it for 2 hours. These boats, it's called tacking. I learned some of the terminology. Tacking is when they turn to try to take advantage of where the wind's blowing to get more speed, keep their speed up so they don't slow down. And that's how they keep their boat going. I mean, I don't sound super intelligent talking about this sport, but I do want to give them a shout out because it was fun. And I also wondered if there was crashes like in NASCAR. And when I followed them on Instagram, yes, there are crashes and they are awesome. I haven't even checked to see if this looks good on the camera, so I don't even know if this looks good, like if the light balance is off. It's okay. I really wanted to film it outside and I was dead set on it. And then when I tried to convince myself otherwise of filming it inside, I just couldn't do it. I was like not interested in filming inside. Once I knew that I could set up out here and have the snow behind me, I was like dead set on it. And when I have a vision, I go for it. All right, so Drake dropped a new album with Party Next Door called Some Sexy Songs for You. And let me tell you, it's a sexy album. I give it 8.5 out of 10. Maybe when I've listened to it a couple times through. Usually with Drake albums, the more I listen to it, the more I find things I like about it. So that could easily get up to a 9 by the end of the week. If you haven't listened to it yet, I'll give you a few songs that I think you're going to start hearing on like TikTok and on the radio. I don't know if people listen to the radio anymore, but like you'll see them. Like these are the top songs. Nokia, absolute banger. Absolute banger. So good. It's got like an 80s kind of style to it. You can definitely dance to it. That one's probably going to be the number one hit off this album. Die Trying is a song that it's the type of song Drake's never done before. It sounds so different from anything he's ever done. So if you're not a huge fan of Drake, you might be a fan of that song because it is so different than from what he does before. It's got like a guitar kind of melody to it. So good. Then obviously Give Me a Hug is an absolute banger. Absolute banger. He talks about Kendrick a little bit in that song. Joe Budden, he goes at some of his rivals in that song, which you knew he was going to do at least once on this album. He doesn't do it a whole lot on this album. He has a couple digs here and there in other songs that are a little bit more subtle, but this one he's kind of like, yeah, I'm just going to address a couple things in this song. And you know, Drake said he's going to have a solo project coming out in 2025. I think he's going to go absolutely ham on that. I think he's going to go after some of these guys again, maybe reignite the beef with Kendrick or at least put a stamp on it. But yeah, Some Sexy Songs for You. So good. And it's fun seeing on Twitter everyone pumping up Drake because it feels like since April when the Kendrick beef started, everyone had automatically turned on Drake because it was trendy to do so. But now that we're getting a little bored of Kendrick, I was always bored of Kendrick, but now that all of the people who were against Drake and were on Team Kendrick bandwagon jumpers, now that they're kind of getting bored and cringed out and kind of sick of Kendrick milking this Not Like Us song, and the more people think about it logically, you're like, okay, there's no actual proof Drake did any of the things Kendrick said. And Kendrick didn't even respond to any of Drake's diss tracks. Anything Drake called him out for on the diss tracks didn't get responded to because Kendrick pre-recorded all of his diss tracks, which I don't think is in the spirit of, going back and forth on a diss. Like, I feel like the whole point is Drake's gonna say some stuff and then respond to things Kendrick said, and then Kendrick is going to say more things about Drake, but respond to the things Drake said about him. But he didn't do that. He just kind of kept going on the offense. And I don't know. All these people who talk about like, oh, I know hip hop and I know rap and like you guys don't know, if you listen to Drake, you're not even like part of the hip hop world or whatever. Well, I mean, those people saying that are very biased. I mean, I'm going to admit right now, I'm a biased Drake fan. I've been listening to him since 2008, so I was going to back my boy. But I admitted when Pusha T beat Drake in a rap beef, I wasn't trying to fight for Drake to win that. It was a clear-cut win. Because Pusha T revealed Drake had a son, and then it was proven fact. And he said other things about Drake that were proven fact. And Drake couldn't combat it, because it was true. Drake lost that one. Drake beat Meek Mill. Easy. I think everyone agrees on that. I don't think you can make a case for Meek Mill. But for this Kendrick one, before they were even releasing songs, people were choosing Kendrick to win without even hearing the songs. And you're telling me you listen to Family Matters, and you're going to tell me that's not the best diss track in this beef? And if you disagree with that, that's fine. But to say it's trash and to say Kendrick destroyed him and all of Kendrick's songs were better than Drake's diss tracks, it just means you just chose Kendrick before it started. You either wanted Kendrick to win or you hate Drake so much that you wanted him to lose. And I think people are starting to come around now, coming out of the woodwork, kind of actually analyzing the beef and being honest with themselves. And this was a lot closer than people think. I think Drake's still very much alive. I mean, he just went number one on the charts with this new album with Party. It was like the fastest album to climb to number one on the Apple Music charts ever. It was like less than 24 hours. It was already number one. He already had 8 out of the top 10 spots for songs. So Drake's very much not dead. Kendrick did not kill this man. I think the narrative it's a narrative. That's all it is. It's a narrative online. And I think the narrative that's been created by Kendrick fans and Kendrick supporters and Drake haters is that Drake lost this badly and he's not going to be able to recover. Well, then why is his album number one then? And why is at the end of this week it going to be number one? Yeah. You guys can keep spinning this fake narrative that Drake's dead and that Drake lost. But if you look deep inside your soul, you'll know Kendrick used strategy to win this. Drake had the better bars. Drake had the better songs. I personally think Drake won the rap beef. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm freezing. Last thing I'm going to say, next podcast, I will have by that time seen the new Captain America movie. And kind of same thing with the Kendrick thing. People were hating on it before it even came out. They watched a couple trailers and they said, this movie's going to suck, this movie's going to tank, this movie's going to bomb. I'm going to go in and I'm going to go enjoy a fun superhero movie, and I'll tell you what I honestly think about it. Because we got to stop. We got to stop just jumping on the trends. Oh, Marvel was such a big thing. Everyone loved Marvel. And then at the same time, all of a sudden, everyone's hating on every single Marvel project. Let's give it a chance. Okay, because we're gearing up towards some Avengers movies. I know some people aren't pumped about Robert Downey Jr. playing Victor Von Doom, Doctor Doom. Like, why don't we wait and see what if they do something really cool with it? And don't you want to see, like, if you hate all these new Marvel movies, but you love the ones with Robert Downey Jr. in it, don't you want to see the guy who played Iron Man come back and potentially have him play Iron Man again if that's where the storyline goes? I don't know what they're going to do with it yet, but let's just give it a chance. I'm going to go see Captain America, and I'll tell you what I think. I see a lot of hate online for it, but I'm not sold on that. I think it's going to be a pretty good movie, I think it'll be fun at the very least. Some good action, some good acting. It's going to be good. Thanks for watching the podcast. I'm freezing. I hope I don't get sick after this. This might have been a bad idea, but I'm going to go inside. I'm going to make a tea, and I'm going to sit down and watch the NASCAR race, and hopefully Joey Logano wins because I bet on him. And then, if you see this before tonight, well, even if you don't, you can find it online after, like on demand or on your TV. SNL 50th anniversary tonight, 3-hour special. It's on Sunday, even though it's Saturday Night Live. It's on Sunday, and I got all ready to watch it last night, and it wasn't on. I was like, what? It's not on Saturday. It's on Sunday. Sunday Night Live, but it's gonna be good. They're gonna have a lot of like returning like SNL cast members from throughout the years. I remember the 40th anniversary was really fun. So I think the 50th anniversary is going to be a banger. I hope the Lonely Island have a new song and a music video. That'd be fun. Maybe that's too high of an expectation, but they've been putting out some new stuff on SNL this year already, so I wouldn't be surprised. They'll have some return, like some of the best hosts that they've ever had. They're going to come back on, probably do some sketches and stuff. We'll get some of our favorite all-time casts, probably recreating some of our favorite characters, so it's going to be fun. So check out SNL 50th anniversary special on tonight. That is it for the podcast. Have a good week. I'll see you soon.